Hey guys, pleasure to see you all again. I took my inspiration from the story of No Moccasins because she was pretty much a badass. She goes into enemy territory and she saves her husband. And she gets none of the credit when she goes back home until he is on his deathbed. She was brave and she was strong, and that just inspired me. So it says at the end that when her time came, there were 100 moccasins on her burial site, so she wouldn't have to walk barefoot in another life. So that's what I created. I made paper moccasins, and there was a lot of trial and error. I used only tape, paper, and scissors. So yeah, I started off with a diagram which reminded me of Akira and how he was the first one to start folding paper and making origami with diagrams. And then it also reminded me of Eric Demain, who said that when you have a piece of paper, you're changing the memory of the paper, which is exactly what I did. It's not the best because I am not art savvy at all. But this was one of my first models. Moccasin, just tape. Was not happy with that at all, so I made plenty more models until I finally decided that I didn't like any of the diagrams, so I went off book and I made my own. And it is this one. I used the paper bag handles, which were also made out of paper, and I made like a little border to it, and it's got 2 layers. So I made a bottom layer and then I made a top layer. Part of the content that I used as well, or that I was inspired by, was how artists use about 10,000 hours to practice until to make everything like a form, pretty much. That's what I did. I practiced a lot, and one of the lines that I kept remembering during it was that you learn from your mistakes and you persevere. So if we never fail, we simply give up the practice. And I failed a lot. Yeah, so I guess a question I have for you guys is, did you guys also fail, or did you know straight on what you were gonna do and if you persevered? Because when I finished, I was satisfied. And it reminded me of Dan Gilbert and how he says that limitations set you up for a synthetic happiness. And I never really questioned that before. I always thought just happy was happy. So now I'm pretty sure that is what I felt. Darn you, Dan Gilbert. Yeah, so that's my project. I titled it Yes, Moccasins. And oh, I also took inspiration from Ian the Giant because he persevered and never gave up. So yeah, throw that little bit in there as well. Anyways, I will see you all next time, and farewell.